All right. I think this started already. I hear my voice that comes from this vocal passageway, my esophagus with no vocal things churned around on it. Yeah. If it's ever some, wait. Welcome to the Just the Psy Tai podcast, fresh and brand new. We gonna cue the intro and jump right back in this. All right. Hey, we back. Welcome to the Psy Tai podcast with Joe Santai, Just Tai, Captain Naga, Steph. Got a lot of names, just like the pharaohs, which I just found out they wasn't called pharaohs. That was just the name of the temple, and then the Hebrews and all the other cultures came and simplified things and said that's too complicated and just called everybody pharaohs. So whatever you want to call me, when you feel that's what it is, I'll respond accordingly. But hey, this is just time now. If y'all ain't noticed, where we combine our mind with our heart, with our gut, mind, and saying, connect all those three circles, and presto, let whatever come out, come on out. Y'all was there for the special preview of the other one. Check it out at the vocal effects. But yeah, it's a good training ground. As I titled this, um, the magic of stupidity, and the magic of stupidity is wild. But I'm not. Y'all gotta wait a bit before we touch on that. I want to just go over what I had before in the other one. I was tying on Mother's Day real fast, so happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Again, happy Mother's Day to everyone that is experiencing that lifestyle and whatever flavor is coming at you. Take this energy and be proud of yourself. Be proud of how far you came and how far you could go with this mom thing. You can start. You can. I was about to say father, mother generations. Take care and help with the evolution of generations, just like the mother spirits do when they breathe, when they bring life to things. And that's what it used to be about in the ancient Roman days and Greeks days. They had a version of Mother's Day where they paid attention to their other goddesses. Here it is, right here, Rhea and Cybele. Yeah, the mother of gods. So, all these thoughts, all these magnificent beings that go around and do these things, they all was birthed from something. Zeus and all of them, all these strategic things that we have that core that structure the reality around us. In the term of spirits and the Greeks and stuff, they had Rhea. But then jump forward. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button. Jump forward. It was a lady back in 1908, and she wanted to honor her own mother who died 3 years before. It's like, man, my mother did a lot. We got to put this effort and have people really recognize, especially back then in America. It was a real male driven society. So this awakening of the mother goddess spirit had to pop up, and it was coming up through her. And it was also somebody else at the same time. Little history lesson. The origin of Mother's Day also has anti in 1870. Julia Howard Howie, the abolitionist feminist, and suffragette, who wrote the lyrics for Battle Hymn of the Republic, which I never heard. So are you saying it's the organized Mother's Friendship Day, during which mothers met with former soldiers from the Union and Confederacy, encourage reconciliation, and find a way for the country to move forward. That caring spirit, that's what's honored today. And but the how the world works though is wild, because she actually died penniless, but left the world penniless. What's another place, or heck, what's another incarnation, however you term it, and was because she was fighting because it was coming so commercialized. Mother's Day was with the gift giving and cards, and she said it was supposed to just to honor your mother because it's supposed to be that real heart to heart. You know what your mom did for you. You already know what the other person mom did for somebody else. So I get it in that respect. In that respect, keeping it as G as possible. Like, honor your mother. Don't waste time honoring other people's mothers and forget about your mom. Like, this is the getting to yourself, about the self too. But that's Mother's Day for you. So shout outs to Tupac. My mom, I was talking to my mom earlier. I've been with my mom since she was 17 years on Earth. So it's been a long journey. About to be 30 this year, so it's been a long. Had some fun, had a lot of fun. Got to watch her grow up. Got to go through all the different emotions that she was experiencing, from being like a literal teenager to being an adult to 40-year-old 40s and stuff like that, through the wild 30s. And just loving the life, loving life. That's what I'm seeing. I'm able to get from her, because she was going through a lot of experiences, growing, having a kid. Like once you a mom, people expect that, hey, you know what mom's supposed to do. Yeah, everything is just going to shape up for you to be able to be the picture of mom. But what is that? What is a picture of mom? That's why I said in all the shapes and flavors. Salute, salute. Because once the duty is on, hey, whatever shape and form we on, we own up. Most people own up to the picture. Most people. Oh yeah. Another thing I want to jump into. Oh, that's my friend telling me Elon Musk was on SNL. Shouts to the Doge father. But another thing I want to jump into um was Turtle Island. I did not know this. Who knew this? That a lot of old folklores in the past talking tying on the on how a lot of indigenous cultures in uh, a lot of indigenous cultures in North America said that the sky goddess, the sky mother goddess, saw a hole in the sky, came down to earth, was carried down by birds and everything, and then the earth started to grow around the mother, and it was a turtle. She landed on a turtle's back, and then this North American found a lot of places. Then I saw this map that they was putting. I said, "Whoa, this is like not a good interpretation, because they got like the claws not really all the way in here." The other map I saw was a little more in tune, but the interpretation is there. Now I heard this before, saying the whole world was on a turtle back and stuff like that. But this the way that the never ending story never stops. How this is related to that, as above, so below, for a lot of most folks that rings bells. It's the I ain't say that term in a long time, so it passed the tie ending something like that. But yeah, North America is on the back of a turtle, and that goes into what I'm tying to, what the title of this podcast is. This the the magic of stupidity. Let me share this for this new link. Share this up here, because a lot of people, once you get into psychedelics, once you get into even conspiracies, even I think conspiracies kind of built around a lot of fear too. But conspiracies, um, when people call people stupid, it's like, man, you fucking stupid. Like, why would you even think of something like that? And the religion, a lot of people that have won the wars, a lot of groups that have won the wars and controlled a lot of people, they set the stage to what is called stupid. And then a lot of us walk around saying, "Oh, I got all these stupid thoughts in my head. I don't know what to do with them, or nobody gonna want to listen to my stupid thoughts." Or, man, this is stupid. I shouldn't even be thinking of like this. I wasn't raised like this. I wasn't raised like this. Like, man, I'm losing myself. I'm losing myself. And this hurts a lot of people. This makes a lot of people unsure of themselves. Makes a lot of people depressed. Makes a lot of people look around for to other people for answers, even if they feel like it's good. Even though our feelings have been hijacked too. That's why ties, when you combine everything, your mind, your heart, and your gut, because your gut is a lot of neurons going around there, a lot of neural pathways connecting. It's a whole mind at work in the gut that's working alongside everything else. Intuition, fire in your belly, go with your mind, go with your gut feeling. All of them sayings are for real. Are for real. So the society that we grow up in, how life has been formulated for us right now, A lot of thoughts is called stupid. A lot of thoughts is called stupid and even demonic. Still trying to figure out why that happens. When I talk fast, get real animated, like air began trapped in. But I think it's because of breathing. But that's how the narrative was stupid. Was stupid. Even like people in their own circle will call people stupid. Like I remember growing up in the church and stuff, and them calling scientists stupid, and then scientists calling religious folks stupid. So at the grandiosity that I just made that word up, the grandioso, the at the big picture of it, what does this word stupid mean? It's it you'll feel stupid right now. And I tell you this. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Mid-century from this is the etymology when you break down the word. Mid-16th century from French stupid or Latin stupidus from Paris, be amazed or stunned. And then when I looked up stunned, just what Google says about it and stuff. From the shortening of Old French astoner, astonished, astonish. So like you're astonished. Let's breaking it down. Go down the rabbit hole. Astonished, in a sense, stunned, bewildered, dismayed. From obsolete, stunned, stupefy. From the Old French astoner, based on Latin ex out plus honor to thunder. To thunder, like astonished. Shows like you taken back. You like wow, what is this going like what is this around me? In awe. I would even say in awe of something. And when we encounter things in the psychedelic space, what happened? Or in the mind or in extravagant experiences where the reality that you was used to is wiped away. It's transfigured into this higher form of dimensionality going around with hyper shapes going around, thoughts you never heard of, hypergeometry going around, thoughts you never encountered before, beings that you only seen in pictures and you thought it was just a picture. So you start feeling sometimes stupid when you want to correlate this back to other people, and or you feel as though even to yourself it gets so wild, but really are you, that's what you are. You are in a state of stupidity, in a state of awe, of I'm trying to use the exact words they use, hold on, of amazement. Yeah, hey wild man. There you go, right there. Same. Let me get my pimp rat. Yep. If I was with my mom right now, I'll be smoking with her. I remember when I first smoked, I first stole my mom weed so I could smoke it. And I rolled it up in regular paper because I know how to smoke. And then I remember her saying, like, asking me some question that knew that I was high, and I was like, yeah. And then she said, just go lay down. But yeah, oh wow, man! I just found out all of this information today, right before I went live. I was trying to find out something to tie on the show, and I this all for the healing too, because I was like, man, I don't want to just say whatever out of my mouth, and then I was like, wait, that's what I usually do. So I was like, I must be in some kind of zone right now. The microdose still kicking in, but I was getting in the zone of like, yeah, these thoughts I'm getting into to set up the stage, just jump in. Just jump in the water. Waiting for the perfect wave. Just it's gonna come. Nope, nope, not at all. And logic is, I mean, logic is good for some things, but I was looking at some scientists that's coming up with even some things called constructor theory, and it's a new theory so that things that are impossible can be figured out. Like, oh, that we thought that was impossible. Let's just put our mind around all this. Hey, King guys. Oh, you can't hear him. Oh. No, no, I don't know why not. Let me change this. First getting
Gonna look
audio.
at
Testing, testing.
there we
There we
go.
go.
Good looking out, King. Appreciate that, bro.
Of course. Well, what up,
Yeah.
Tom?
Hey, good, good. Feeling the mother energy that's going all around.
The magic of stupidity, huh? That's what we on.
Yeah, man. Gotta go stupid sometimes, just like the music say. Go
Yeah.
stupid.
Uh, I can dig that.
You know, for type scientist type like me, I'm not like me because I'm a whole nother person now. I'm just thinking of that general person, that general idea of what I was getting into, and what we all
Mm,
tap into. Where man, this reason is gonna get me from point A to point B, and,
mm.
and that's all I got. And if somebody come with some wishy washy shit, like that's just stupid. Like get that. Like, what they even talking about?
Look, they was just on my heels for calling motherfuckers stupid.
It just means to be amazed, to be stunned,
Look,
to be in awe.
to lack intelligence, to be foolish.
And that's what we need.
It's my heels on that.
Now, you
You're
think
right
I'll be
there.
up here talking right now if I ain't think I was the fool?
Look,
I would think I wouldn't do it. What?
it's that simple, man. Look, wild man having a good old time over there.
I'm on
Beard
my
gang,
watch.
beard gang.
Just gotta burn some Palo Santo now, cause I just got stupid, man.
Uh,
I try to
man,
fix the Discord screen.
see you live again, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's fun every time I come on. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, there we go. That's what we do.
Been a little minute.
Where's the Discord? There we go. All right. Yeah, it's more of a flow thing. It's more of a flow because I'm getting to my art and everything else, and I just get with whatever flow is coming up, whatever thought is more dominant on my mind. Because I be trying to put things through logic and reason and say I gotta do this and I gotta set things up like that. And every time I get into that kind of flow, something something else come up. And then
When you,
I'm either fighting it too much or I'm just going with it.
mm-hmm. Has the sun ever told you that you're a piece of it in the middle of the night? You well on one. No,
Nope.
they ain't never seen you well. I'm gonna tell you.
And even that right here.
All the Thai animations coming.
Okay, there we go. Oh, they doing all right. That's why I said I've been doing that when I'm not live. I'm doing the timations. Get into everything. I've been trying to upload this video for the past 2 days, but starting up when I render the file out, my computer cuts off when it's like at 70%. So I'm still figuring that out. So it never stopped.
Yeah, I seen that you posted that in the Discord.
It never stopped. And oh, I'm just now seeing what you were saying. You well said. Now it makes sense.
Uh-uh.
Have you ever seen? Has son ever told you you're a piece of it? LOL in the middle of the night.
Tell them no, that ain't never happened to me.
I was just listening to something. My daughter was asking me why, and I was listening to something else that was saying that uh how it used to never be nighttime, and then that one time the moon just they woke up and the moon was just there. It was somebody TikTok that day nighttime. Yeah, okay, guys, still there? Yo, you ever be with? That just reminded me of the moment when when I was on acid when I first started doing acid tripping back in the day, and whenever my friend disappeared, I was like, "Where would he go?" He was just like behind a tree or something, and like he disappeared out of existence. So he said, "We're gonna
Way,
come
but
up
it
with
feels
calling
like he's
card."
gone
Yeah, like we're gonna come up with calling things like, "I'm just going over there. I didn't disappear."
for a minute.
That goes to the mind, out of sight, out of mind. That analogy. And
Falls in the woods. Do you hear it, man? If, you gotta
that
focus.
that goes straight into what everything we tying on to. Because I'm thinking of the Schrodinger's cat. Like if when you're looking at the box, if is there a cat in the box? Is it dead or is it alive? And do you know that it's not dead or alive until you open the box, or is it a cat in there? Period. When the box is closed and it appeared when you open the box. That all go into being stupid, being just in that amazement and that thing, because then reason start playing into it afterwards, and then because I was learning about reason in the other podcasts I did, and that reason only explains what already happened, like what you already experienced, and then that voice pops up trying to explain what just happened. But we're most of us, a lot of us get so used to that being the only voice that drives us that all the other experiences is like really you don't really get to experience it like a movie, like your own movie, living your own sci-fi life, just walking around, and that's a
Its
real
own
thing.
math, and the
He
heart
says
adds its, adds in.
it is, and the heart could be scary. That's why they say love could be scary too, but really it's just the roller coaster. Going strap up or what? Strap in.
I'm not afraid or nothing. It doesn't have the emotion, but the logic just works itself out through the math, and then it's up to your emotional perspective to choose whether you want to see it like as a good thing or a bad thing, huh? Maybe. See?
Yeah, yeah. I see where you're going with that. With the math and the reason being one and one. And then like how you feel about it. Like I'm thinking of movie times and movie scripts and they be like, we need to go through with this. It makes sense. We need to drop these bombs. And they're like, wait,
All
what are
in.
the yeah, I'm all in for this. And they're like, wait, what are the implications of this? I know it makes sense,
Um,
but should we go through with this?
Sometimes logic's like this makes 100% sense. Let's do this. This doesn't matter how you feel, and you're like, wait, maybe But logic's like, no, full speed ahead, and you're like,
Like a
ah,
song. Like you just in that song.
man. You know about that, like Carl Jung? What's that philosopher guy, man? That
Yes,
dude,
Carl
he fucked
Young.
up. Yeah, he messed us all up with trying to think about these archetypes in our mind, trying to make us trip out. Like, but it's like that movie, right? With all those little what was it called? The emotions. Man.
Inside
Uh,
Out.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we really do have these little archetypes in our head where we're like, there's your angry part of you, the loving part of you, all these little personalities, and they're all up in there, and it really is like a mathematical equation plus a little emotion, like the heart math, like you say with the gut mind. How do you say it? I want to memorize this. You combine your heart, mind with your gut, and then
Yep.
whatever ties on out. See? See?
It works. Cause my girlfriend got me this pendant, and she tried to get it right too, and it's inscribed on the back. It say combined your mind with your heart and let whatever come out. I say that works for me.
Man, I love it.
Hey, you're well, Salvia. What you can't see is not there, and behind you, you can see another world till you can see another world till look, or you can't see another world. You can see well, and then you had said and your dreams are you first person mostly, or you shift to third person or omni person like in chips omni. Hey, wow, man! I actually had a dream last night that was wild. Like it was interesting. It was the only part I can remember though right now that's in the forefront of my mind that was it was somebody that I was kind of frightened of for some reason in this scenario, and I was like in the first person point of view, and then the scenario played off. After it played off, I thought to my like in my dream, I thought to myself, wait a second, why am I just letting this happen? Like it was something where I had to get it down to the exact timing I didn't get hurt or something. Or like avoided an obstacle that the person put out for me to get me. And then after I was going through all of that, went through the scenario, I went into that omni shift perspective. And I thought, why am I running? I said, well, this is my dream. What am I doing? I said, I can just make him float away. Or I could like make him float away. So then I replayed the scenario and I was like, all right, this time I'm just going to like use my magic and just make him go. Oh, I hit the mic. Test, test. All right, I'm gonna just do like this and make him go to the side and like move things around because it's the dream. And then after that, I said, wait, that's still too much work. I said I could just make them disappear. Then I just said, well, and I said that's the end of that. Now I can move on to something else.
Right? That's when you're like a bird and you're falling and you're like, oh no, but then you're like, wait, I'm a bird, I can fly. You don't have to fall. And you're like, I forgot, I had wings.
Exactly like that.
Oh my god. That- I think we do that for fun. I think there's something to like that memory thing, the memory game. That's the memory game, man. What the only thing that's stopping us all from remembering each other is these memory barriers, you know. So there's big business in like just keeping in touch with what it's like to forget, so that it's fun to remember. And now, see, there's
Get them
big business.
aha moments.
Yeah, deja vu, man. It's so fun. But thank God we do that, because man, it just brings us tighter every time we do it. Every time.
Hey, it brings us so much tighter that feeling deja vu. It's this movie. Somebody made a short film. Um, I saw it on TikTok. No, yeah, TikTok earlier. It was a lady. She wrote a movie about a black guy that kept getting shot. That kept experiencing deja vu by getting shot by a cop over and over again, different ways. But then tell he a newspaper article or online article wanted to pick it up and like promote it, and then tell me how the show that I watched that was on Netflix was her movie that they stole, and it was like it's about deja vu and stuff like that. So deja vu is a good business, it's a good learning experience overall. And it won 2 Grammys, Grammy nominated and everything. Because like people getting to realize the deja vu and be like, wait a second, how can I look at this scenario I'm in right now? Or wait, did I do this before? I'll be seeing a lot of TikToks like that. Like you ever experienced deja vu, like kids and stuff? Like when I say kids, like 20-year olds stuff like. and other people saying, um, I became aware I gained consciousness at age 4, when like this dramatic event happened. Lovely. Wait. For all intents and for all purposes, this is but my man just munching.
Microdose.
Hey, well, you said in your dreams you are first you can see another world till till you the body look, and then start coming up for all that reasoning you and be like, wait a second, and then it disappear. But that is the strength. You hear a lot of well, I'll tell you too. A lot of people block a lot of experiences out just because of how their mind is structured. Don't you know when you say, "Oh, did I just see that?" Or, "Oh, no, no, no," like just the sense of saying, "Oh," you're it's not going to solidify as much because your brain ain't trying to make that happen. The thoughts, the math don't add up. But when you just let the math add up, magic of stupidity, let it add up to whatever it wants to add up, you'll start
Music of
experiencing stuff.
stupidity.
You'll start experiencing.
Thinking of Harry Potter, and he's walking in the defense against the dark arts, and he's like, "Nah, walk in this other room. Defense or the art of stupidity. That sounds good."
Hey, that class gonna be in the next. It's popping up,
Take this. I'm gonna take
popping
this
up in
remedial
Hogwarts.
education. Yeah. Secret chapter 3.5, or what do they call that? On platform 3 3/4. We're just gonna go on 3 7/8 or some shit.
and that's how
With
America was created, bro. Like off of
our own secret room.
the magic of stupidity. That's
Magical
why
rules, and we're gonna go to our own room, and we're gonna have our own world.
that's what we did. But Brits be like, yo, y'all just branched off from us, started eating cheeseburgers, created your own language, your own pronunciation and all the words. I
We
was
keep
thinking,
doing it.
I
It
was
doesn't
thinking,
stop.
it doesn't. I was thinking of I was trying to think of all the words that switched over. It was some TikTok that was so funny. It was switching over. It was a British person talking to an American, and like what do they call sweaters? Sweaters and a
The
jumper.
British people come through my line. They always call carts a trolley. And
A jumper. They call it a
jumper,
jumper, but we call
a jumper.
sweaters. And they was Americans like, yeah, we call it a sweater because I sweat when I'm in it. Is that simple?
Simple American logic. But the Brits are like, "That's me jumper, mate. Put it in the trolley. We'll keep on pushing down to the boardwalk."
uh, and that's what even branches out with religion and everything. Cause you know they have like that's where Catholicism is, and they have like the high level formal magic with the Vatican and everything, and then they came over here, got the Presbyterians and the I was about to say the monks. The what are they? The Amish and the Mormons. That's what I was thinking about. The Mormons, all these different sects, and making like loosen it up, say, oh, it ain't the real stuff, and then we just keep on going with it. Now we branching off of that and saying what religion, what, and then say it's about the spirituality, and then it's like, wait, no, spirituality is about individuality, and then it just keep on going. stupidity. Well said, stupidity is like any other road runner uses it to not know gravity, but when he wants to tick, stoppable.
Well,
Yeah.
man, just as a tool, man. Man, you well's on this game right now. Like like always.
Roadrunner was the Roadrunner and Coyote. That was the duo. Teach you about defining gravity and the laws of physics. Waddy Coyote was always trying to set up stuff. And then the Roadrunner was like, what? Meet me. Like you see you standing over top of a cliff, right? Like once you notice that I'm gonna be back over there, you just gonna fall.
Meep meep. Man, sucks. Acme.
And when it comes to life, on a deeper note, when it comes to life, a lot of people don't like to pay attention to what they call the stupid thoughts in their mind because of, especially if you come to a well-to-do household, like a family that got structure put together, and they like, hey, if you just do this and we did this, and you're gonna be all right. Then like we see what's going on, and it can feel real stupid to go out and say, I feel like I want to go out and do this with my life, or I feel as though I have more control over my life if I go off of these feelings that I have and this vision that I see. It can seem real stupid, and it takes some real magic in itself and confidence, and really seeing what the magic and stupidity really is to really create the life that you want out of those circumstances. I felt like that, and I felt like that. I was like, oh man, like I can easily just go to school and do this, or sign myself up, and even for like regular kind of like 9 to 5 job, even if not that, I can easily go do that. But my heart is in the arts. I love the arts, and been now that I'm in it, I'm learning how to have the structure that's in it, or whatever structure come out of being an artist. Like I'm learning, an artist doesn't structure themselves in the same way that a businessman does. But yeah, it is business like, but it's a whole nother story. And then I was like, still having all these like my family, they're nurses. My uncle's a lawyer, so that's how they finally found their way to move themselves out of the situations that they grew up in because they were really poor, really poor. So I was like, all right, this is how you do it. And none of them are artists. I'll put that. None of them play an instrument. None of them. None of them are into extreme sports like skateboarding, surfing, rollerblading, nothing like that. So when I come along and I'm like coming on all these new ideas, I'm using this magic of stupidity to the fullest that I'm able to work out the spells and learning that it takes communication with other people and not just trying to do it on my own too, because that's just another trap of form of depression, a business like man, well, if people don't really believe in the idea, then you got to work on it too. So it's like I on magic happens, somebody hear a whisper in the wind, they do this and match along with this idea. Really never know. Well, you say, yeah, it could be illogical to the mind, but the gut and the heart clearly. Calculate it clearly. It surely does. And that could cause a lot of depression in you too. And with this new stuff going around, not new, but I'm seeing a lot of talks of kids, like 20-year-olds and people my age too, that's saying, or people more my age saying, "Oh, I just discovered that I have ADHD, and I'm happy that found out I have ADHD because now I know how to take care of my life. Now I know why I put things in piles, why my mind thinks art more, why I can't really remember things when people like put in this logical fashion and stuff. But if I color my notes and stuff, then I'm finding ways to work with myself. So I'm happy that this is popping out, that people finally find ways to build themselves. But it's so wild that it's under this thing called a disorder. That's why I put on the Just Laugh Now show. The somebody made the meme It said ADHD, attention to higher dimensions. Damn, they termed it. You gotta check it out. But I found that the ring bells. What you got on that, wild man?
I love the laughter, man. That is number one. You know what? That show you got there, that is a genius thing because everyone loves to laugh. So we love it.
Yeah, magic
Yeah.
and stupidity. Because I spend my time, I be learning so much from it. I'm only doing what I do with myself. Like, all right, this how I take in, this how I am taking information. This how I am. I love to laugh because when things get too serious, I'm able. I've been on the side of taking things serious and really listening to it and shaping my life up to it and like really being real logical to things. And shout outs to Flight Boss yesterday. I was listening. He put this in the term that in the movie The Matrix, Morpheus was not always the good guy. He kind of got it. Well, not like terms of good or bad, but he kind of got in the way. He kind of created more ruckus. Like Neo was waking up to stuff or whatever he was waking up to, and then Morpheus was like, "This is what it is. Those people are out to get us and keep us asleep."
What if Morpheus? What if Morpheus never? What if Morpheus never interrupted Neo? Yeah, that'd be a whole nother great. What if Morpheus never interrupted? Neo was on. Neo could have just did it all by himself. Morpheus is just like a distraction. He
but
was
that's
right there.
But that's what happens though every single time in the Matrix. That always, like even with our lives, somebody always pop up and be like, "Hey, you know, fuck them guys, right?" or, or this ain't all that there is. Like I played the Morpheus at times, and that's just the wildness of life. It's just
You know
energy.
what that
Hmm.
makes me feel like the memory thing from Men in Black. That just makes me think like, man, I used to have this perspective of being like, don't take my memory, but now I understand the game. It's like, nah, all right, bring it on, let's go,
somebody
take my
had to
memory.
somebody had to create the challenge for it to be a challenge in the first place. They don't just pop up out of nowhere. I had to say, all right, they think they got it. Wipe. Now let's see. But it's really, I'm really thinking that I'm on this doing it for the greater good, like in my own journey, in my own personal, and that's what allows the wildness to keep going. Because then religion and other stuff pop up, or people certain thoughts pop up to say, hey, well you can't think like that, or you shouldn't bring up those ideas around children because it's going to allow them to think certain thoughts and different thoughts, and they need to be able to form their own mind state out of their own conscious will and stuff like that. But really, that's never how the game is played ever. The game is never played by ourselves. It's always things popping up and whispers, and they probably just see one thing in their life, and it had it affected what science called the amygdala. So then it plays out in their life in a way where they probably not conscious of it, or sometimes aren't conscious of it. And way the wind blows. Hey, well, you said choosing to do what you makes it others can as they do all the way. All the way. If you don't know what you're doing, what the team, how the team gonna get the ball in the court, or even filming a movie. Everybody got it. They got the cameras, the sound crew. If you don't know what you're doing, like they gotta know how to follow you and track you and stuff like that. Or even I was watching when they was creating Attack on Titan, and Attack on Titan is an anime, and there's quarter crew that's breaking down the scenes and stuff, the animation and how they did it and everything. And they were saying, do you think that the the background crew made the background first, or did they make the character that's running around like doing all the stuff with chains on buildings and stuff? They did that and then allowed the background to be built on that. And then the guy was like, it's kind of like a 50-50. That 50-50 means just that the choice had to be made. Like it was either the background was going to be made, and like I said, they painted the person in, or they said sometimes he said what really be wild is if they let the person animating the character just have like kind of free will so they can get all the emotion out without any constraints and just let them get it out and then build the constraint background around the person, do it in the environment that he's in. That was pretty dope when I ran across Magic of Stupidity. What herbal? Oh, and this was something I ran across too. Was I looked up the word smart, and when I looked up smart, say Old English, that Samaritan, West Germanic origin related to German Schmarzen, related. The adjective is related to the verb. All right, just give me to the word. The original sense, late Old English, being causing sharp pain. From this arose brisk. Brisk, I was looking it up too. It means like real fast. Fast, energetic, active. So the current sense of mentally sharp. Neat in a brisk, sharp style. I was like neat in a brisk. What the? But it's just more on the top. But yeah, this means very good. But what I first got out of this was sharp pain. Sharp pain. And how they say smartness comes from an old word meaning sharp pain. You know, sometimes when you think too much, it causes so much stress that you're literally be feeling sharp pains all around your body. And sometimes you gotta bring on the pain. Bring on the pain. That's how the work is done. That's how builders build. But it is a pain. And while some people try to run away from thinking at all and thinking of being smart and stuff like that. Yeah, let me see the timeline. Good idea. But it started being used more in the 20th century in 2019. There we go. Wow. What made the dramatic increase in like 1999? And we think we getting smarter and smarter. Gonna come with some pain. Because nobody, yeah, you right. You say you well. The timeline also teaches a lot about words and their uses. You right about that. Because look how people thought they smart they was back in the past. They was doing a lot of different things. Can we go farther back to the times when witches and wizards were around? And now the more we so called getting smart, the more it's like, eh. Oh, that's as far as I can. Oh no, wait. Oh, they was on a spike in the day. Mark Twain. Church Authority Rome burned Hebrew books. Huh, never heard about that. That's what I'm gonna say that for. Yeah, yeah. Balance always. You don't know the balance. So you about to tip over much on your left foot. Whoop whoop. Let's see about the right foot. Let's see if we put a hand up like this, put our neck to the side. All right, there we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's where reason has us today. Reason has us. I mean, our life is used a lot more of this. So now that things is noticed, like now that we notice that smart is used a lot more days. Now it don't have to. It can continue, but now it can continue with a different definition. It can continue now with a new feeling towards it, as opposed to the feeling that we've been putting towards it, as if saying that stupid is not smart and smart is not stupid, as if they don't work together, if they can't work together, when in fact they always are working together in order to create the that we have now. It's the start of a scientific revolution as time. Right. That was in my mind right now. I was thinking of technology. I was thinking of technology and how it's on the increase right now with smartness and how it's going to come with a lot of pain, but that's what it is. We're using and it's developing so fast. VR technology and everything. Remember the movies about VR technology was out in the 80s with like Arnold Schwarzenegger and all of those. I was called Forbidden City. I think that's another Total Recall. That was all up, and then we just continue from there. Indo 64, all of those, and ways of thinking, string theory, quantum mechanics, 1900s and everything. It's not just new. It's not. It's new. It's new to the way we're actually applying all this. No information is new under the sun. Like you said, the scientific revolution. How now we looking at what we have, the scientific reasoning part of the brain, smart part. That's going to like build something right now, construct it, rise. So that's pretty neat. Oh, did y'all hear about the magic mushroom? I said magic mushroom. The mushrooms that they found on Mars. I didn't want to leave the podcast without bringing. Like I clicked on that too, but this was the pictures, and they was saying scientists was looking at a time lapse of pictures of Mars and seeing how this thing was growing, and they were saying it's related to a fungus, like a mushroom, and it's like a puffball fungus. So that's pretty dope if it actually is. What kind of spores does it contain? I mean, what kind of chemicals does it contain? When how do they interact with our biology? Are they, and if it is mushrooms, other life on there, even bacterial life, stuff like that? How are they interacting with or other things and other planes of existence? But yeah, that's oh yeah, I read this yesterday. That what I was saying is at the picture days. It says because the presence of these spherical parts is important. Trying to say because it helps them make the case that what we're seeing really is fungus instead of simple spherical rock. Yeah, what is Mars? What is Mars? As when all I know about Mars is the feelings of it, the energy of, but the physicality of it, all up in the air. Everything is massive. And then if they're on Mars, if it's mushrooms on Mars, then what stops them from being on other planets? What stops them from drifting through the air on rocks, on asteroids? Like the planet got knocked and mushroom got hit by an oncoming asteroid comet, bang, breaks off a piece of it, splatter throughout the universe. Those spores land on random planets. Shout outs to Terrence McKenna for bringing that theory out there a long time ago. Long time ago. But what is a long time ago? Credit. Ooh. All in all. But where do the mushrooms come from? How are they connected with how's the information? Why do they contain the information that they have? They interact with us. And a lot of people that have had the interactions with them will tell you how they feel about it. Like I know for a lot, it seems though they come for me. They come from another world, another plane of existence that's in this existence as well, but it's way out there, multi-dimensional, big multi-dimensional. Hey, block.
Hey, what's up, Ty?
Hey, loud and clear. You got a good mic.
Yeah, I got it with my stimmy check.
Word.
Yeah,
And
dude,
that's
spores can live in space, and if you think about it, like our planet's naturally giving off. Like, think of during like allergy season, how there's naturally just pollen in the air. Some of that has to be leaking up into the higher, out of our fucking planet in reality of things of winds and shit. So like, even our planet's sending spores out there right now.
I was just thinking like when you the plant and you like a week bells and you can pollen out of it. The
Hmm.
planet just shaking, and whatever the planet got to offer is going out there.
I mean, shit, it shook a few humans off.
Oh, that's a dope. Cause then like I'm just thinking of how spores last for years, like opposed like seed stuff as opposed to mushroom. They only last a couple days, dry them out, dehydrate them. But the spores last for years. As long as they land in the right conditions, they'll start to turn into some mycelium real quick. So I'm just thinking too how the big story how they say aliens treat things like that, how aliens a physical thing like how we physical and as well to put it's this, I don't know the exact word but a spheric thing where the wind connection the solar winds could have been the aliens that brought the or with scientists where we would call the solar winds or space wind stuff could have transplanted. But then when you in that space, you see it as you see the reality of like, oh wait, this is something actually bringing it here. But in this world, we see just the wind. Wild the games at play. I was, yeah, yep. Yeah, before I be talking too, I be seeing the whole thing about. All right, yeah, that's the idea. So when I'm silent, I'm in another place, like living out what I'm about to talk about. And I'm like, wait, I wanted to be a surprise, but but the show I was on TikTok and it was somebody saying that they're a medium, psychic medium, that worked in psychiatric wards all their life, and they say that they can hear the same thoughts that the so-called schizophrenic hears, or
That
that the
shit's dude, that shit's
so
100% real.
you got experience with that?
Yeah, I ended up in a psychiatric ward due to like stimulant psychosis. So this was like I didn't get diagnosed with anything, but I was going through like withdrawals. I've been doing a lot of coke the last month and not sleeping at all pretty much. And I landed up in there before I got government fucking paid for me to go to rehab. But when I was in there, dude, fucking the weirdest shit. The weirdest shit. Like when you're just around somebody who's clearly on like another wavelength and they ain't really like the same as you. Like they're obviously different. Like it's just it keeps you up at night. I was constantly anxious. Like I guarantee you, if you put a sane person in a psych ward within a month, they'll develop some shit. And then the whole time I was in there, they not even talking to the people at all about trauma, past experience, because a lot of these people I was sitting talking to them because I had fucking nothing to do all day. They were like telling me all this shit, like how their life's in disarray, their fucking mom abused them their whole life, yet they're still living with them. It's like, no wonder you're fucking not doing well. But then they sit there and just sit there on their computers looking at the schizophrenic people from across the room, just like typing down all the shit they're doing. And it's like they fucking put me on 2 different pills, and I'm like, I don't need anything. So I got off all that shit 'cause it was fucking with me. But the place, they were just constantly changing people's like pills. They were adding pills. It was like in such a short period of time, they can't actually assess what's going on with them. So they just medicate them so it's like as good as they can get it for them. It's almost like a warehousing strategy. Cause like I don't even know what to think about it. Like the dreams I had in that fucking place too. Like the first night I was there, I was sitting there talking to a couple other people because there was a few other like addicts who were just chilling, sobering up. And then a lot of the other people were clearly off. And then some of the other people wouldn't tell you they were off. And then a few days later, you would start to notice the flaws and the fucking holes in them. But like the first night I was there, I had the most vivid fucking dreams. I would dream about everyone that was in the psych ward with me. And we were all like chilling there watching TV. But it was like a family. It's like I could see like I don't even know. It was like so specific. I've never had such a specific dream with like specific people that I just met.
That's dope. That's dope and wild at the same time. My mom was in a went to a psychiatric ward back in the day, and my grandpa was in and out. I don't even know right now, but yeah, I got a lot to say about it. But that was your experience with it. How long was you in there?
I was in there 6 days where I could
6
find a
days?
fucking bed somewhere. Yeah.
Not too long. They have you doped up too long. I know
Well,
sometimes when you try to refuse, so they be saying no, you can't.
mhm. Like, I don't know. It's just so strange in those fucking places. It's so strange.
I've watched you ever see the show American Horror Story?
No.
It's American Horror Story Asylum. I learned a lot from that show because it was about the psychiatric wards back in the day when they was doing a lot of experimenting, even more experimentation on with like electric and putting them in cold baths and stuff like that. Well, like heating their skin up and then putting them in real cold baths and trying to get the gay out of them and stuff and all these different things because people was dumping their kids off at psychiatric wards too and they didn't know how to deal with them if they had even like a disability. They say, oh, this person's retarded, they have a mental illness, and it was the
Mm.
nurses taking advantage of them. It was priests there and stuff like that because the priests sometimes think that some people exorcism. So it was a lot going on, a lot of more experimenting, and like you said, not really, and with studies too, not just based off the show, but I did afterwards. They don't really study what's going on with your trauma, like on a psychological level. They just want to see this pill shuts up that thought so that you can go and do your stuff, and that's about it. Then they let you go. and then experiment on the mind too. For studies, like all that data they taking, helping people that they can that for company.
Dude, and I think it keeps you trapped in it when they medicate you when you're going through certain things, because obviously there's gonna be certain segments of the population that need something to participate. But on another level, like you look up the statistics, the average person has psychiatric symptoms. Except majority of people, it only lasts like weeks to months. But then when you start medicating these people and treating them for shit instead of actually letting them work through it, like there's real evidence that it keeps you locked into that. Your brain never gets to grow past it or experience what it has to.
Yeah, that's the you hit that right on the block. Block was being able to work through that. Cause like with all the other experiences I'm having myself with mushrooms, learning about the science behind it, how it actually rewires your brain, like to help the neurons find new pathways to go, and that's the how you feel like, oh, I finally get to finally face this problem in my life or this manifestation that was bothering me for a long time, and I didn't even know how it was bothering me or that it should was even bothering me because I was taught that those things don't bother people, and that's just the way that life is. Yeah, it really SSRIs and stuff, they don't help with that. They don't. And
I just zonk some people out, just puts them onto a plane of just blah, or it's no better than it was before, but it's not worse. I don't know.
it's a state for sure because and on a spiritual state, like you ever see the movie K-Pax?
Nope.
It was a movie about a alien who went to a psychiatric ward to get star information, to get something. I forget what his purpose. I think it was just to show everybody like what the universe was about. But nobody believed he was an alien because he came in the form of a person. But then he was in the psychiatric ward and they was treating him and saying, "What are you talking about? You come from the stars." Or what are you talking about all of this? And then he was proving it later in the movie, showing them star charts. But that was after they trusted him more. But he was getting along people that were there because of their mental state and their minds, what they was actually tuned into. They was tuned into some real stuff, but they just was in a society that wasn't promoting it
Dude,
or
like
taking care of it.
if you were a psychiatrist and you listen to that True Life Story podcast, you would sit there thinking 80% of these people need to be fucking medicated. Like I guarantee you, like the shit that's talked about, but no one even dots an I. It's just like in reality is insane to a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. I've been on that show for 2 years. That's my
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, the True Life show. I used to come on that show in the beginning. If people want a history book, I used to go on there and I used to be whispering, "Hey guys, you guys ever like around? Then it turns feel like you got powers." And I used to be like, really, because that's what I was experiencing. I was testing the waters a lot. Like, wait a second, wait. And then when it was never that much of a feedback, like, what the you talking about? I was like, oh, this is this is a newfound life coming about right now, new reality popping up. I just jumped into while the other me is still over there, like experiencing whatever it was experiencing. But well, you say you ever hear about the people that drilled hole in it to feel free?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah. There's actual guide online where if you drill into a specific part of your brain, it just makes you permanently like enjoy shit. Like you're almost high forever. It's like a self-done lobotomy. It's fucking insane.
Called a tri triffination. I heard of that before. That name. Yeah. I was I see it right here on Vice. I drilled a hole in my skull to ever. What? Bro, we gotta bring this up. Just describe it. Give me a hyped up tagline. Melon actually also managed to capture something of this writing. How did he do it? Do it. Difference between the auto. How did he do it? This is just talk about his life. If you don't take the sugar, you'll certainly get let it go as far as you want, then take the sugar and bring it back. Funny thing was, I thought I was hallucinating. I got back to my apartment. I looked like the pipes had sprung a leak, like my bed was flooded. But I thought I was tripping. Woke up the next day, the bed was neat, so I hadn't been. My little book, Borehole, big idea. Big idea is that humans have a problem. The problem, healing of the skull, which happens when we're grown. Before that, the skull is separate. There is some give. Think of a brain. Think of the brain as a pudding. It can expand and once the skull is grounded, it can no longer do pulsation. Rest in the blood passes out pulse. All of us want back to that being where we have more spontaneity. This is what he's saying. Not to promote and go drill it. All else hate. But he was only one guy. Tell me about your first attempt. I was broke. I certainly couldn't afford an electric drill, so I brought a hand trim pin from a surgical shop. It's a bit like a corkscrew, really, but with a ring and the bottom. It has a point in the middle, which makes an impression on the skull. Then you turn it with cut. Do you have pain receptors in your brain?
No.
No. Yeah, I thought that
No,
was a
you can,
fact.
headaches come from the blood vessels on the outside of your skull getting like compressed and squeezed.
Over that fear. Go. There's a point in the middle which makes an impression on the skull. Turn it into cut into the skull. Slightly narrower at the bottom than it is at the top. So it pulls the out once you're through. Once you end, you with it. It was difficult. It was like trying to uncork a bottle of wine from the inside. The teeping was blunt and I couldn't purchase my own. I was tripping on acid. I thought it was I can get, but it didn't. And he's still alive. 4 attempts. Took him 3 attempts. A year later, successful. I injected a local anesthetic to the skin. Pigeon egg. I don't want to leave it hanging, but he was brilliant. He couldn't fix it. Hurt the drill, and then I got back with it. Really obvious. You all get that way. When you get all the way through the skull, quite a bit of blood comes. And $2,000 in Mexico. I don't advise people to themselves. That's just what are the bit what ego is a mechanism brain where it's needed. It controls the artery in some parts of blood flow of other parts, but the part of the brain that dominates we depend on survival and it dominates brain activity. Words create life. It does this by monopolizing the supply of blood. Speech sensors, which deal with talking, writing, reading, were the last to develop in our evolution. They're in this far away from the heart. Sure, constant blood supply to the precious function other parts of the brain. That's why with mushrooms and stuff, with the when they put the person tripping under the MRI machine, thought the brain was communicating with ever be like they say it's not usually does. But then in out drilling, holding yet. Oh, I lost the check.
Your mic's cutting in and out.
I just test. All right,
Yeah,
there
you're
we go.
good. What kind of mic you got?
Um, I ate. Wait, let me cut off this double. AT 2035. The
Yeah,
audio.
with those kind of, that's literally no better than mine. With those kind of mics, you want to put your mouth close to them and then turn the mic volume way down, and then it sounds way clearer.
Gotcha. Test.
Yeah, your voice
There
sounds
we
much
go.
deeper now.
Better.
Yeah, dude. It'll make it sound much nicer all around if you have it close and turn it down.
Thanks. I was doing the exact opposite. I was turning it up and pushing it as far away.
I was like, his mic look better than mine, and he's complimenting my shit.
You just changed the whole game up. Thanks, bro. you said that mushrooms do it in another way by changing connection pathway, as opposed to letting the blood being able to flow in different ways. That's dope though. Like I could really see why he did it. I could see like if those actions started breeding up and in different cultures I grew up where people did that and they had the science and the everything behind it. I could see that. It makes stupid sense. But you gotta be really stupid to like, but yeah, that's the magic. Magic is it's your own path. It is truly your own path. And then with me, it's with mushrooms and DMT and other substances that, if I can write it out my own book, don't involve. Even though people are going to be getting intrusions when they accept getting neural links and stuff like that, they ain't going to bat an eye against that. They're going to say, open me up, cut me up, put that chip in me, put that connector in me. So to not get caught up in it, how I look at the bigger picture of things, like I said, is everybody's each own story. They have plants that also improve blood flow to brain, like ginkgo. I think you brought up ginkgo before, or I seen it before and was buy it. I was like, that sound like it's. I don't know. Some plants names just like I think that does something. You know that feeling. Native to China. That makes sense. The brain and how you able to think as a kid, and then like, oh, life is, and then people get used to that feeling. But don't you know how we attribute a lot of things how we grow up, and then we say how we attribute to this big picture thing, like like say like like in a lot of religious folks' minds, when something bad happens to somebody, they say, "Oh man, that mean God did that. God is finally getting through to you. God finally got through to you because this bad thing is happening in your life." So that means God finally talking to you, finally got through. But really, is it always like that? Because he always talking, or whatever that thing is, that voice is always there. Is always is even when you feel like it's not there. Because all in all, what is it's kind of you know what I mean. You know what I mean, and how um but then how it turns out to be true. because it's what's happening in life. Like, oh yeah, the bigger consciousness, I did just become woke. I did just now notice the repeating pattern of numbers around me and stuff like that, or the synchronicity of life, or God and anything like that. Oh, I am. That does pop up. But was that like I said, was that the only time God was finally talking to you and stuff? Or did that just pop up because of how the story pop up and it just sound cool? It sound like it's the cool thing to say. To say, all right, now God is about to break through and get you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to stick to my point. Part with these headphones. Oh man, dang. Oh, let me bring up this. I went on off on that 10. Hey, oh block you. I'm gonna say anybody know what the first thing I said before I went off?
What were you asking?
What was the last thing? What did I say before? Do you remember what I said before I started talking about what I just said?
I couldn't even tell you what you just said.
I know. It's like that's a curse. Like whenever I say somebody say, "Oh, don't let me forget." Oh, do you remember? It's like a wipe come say, "Nope, nobody remember." it was all, it
It's like,
was
well,
all the
now I
time.
don't like shit.
Yeah, it's wild. He'll come back. I learned that from Exile. Like, I'm back. Jump back on that train when it. Dang, it's just wild when it's live. Oh yeah, Ginkgo is native to China.
Yeah, niacin is a organic vitamin B that also does increase blood flow to the brain.
Oh, now you just reminded me, bro. Thanks. Like bringing about niacin. I got some niacin in the room. But think talking about the blood pressure and about how stories come up to what's happening physically, but it also can relate to what people would make up spiritually. But that's why spirituality, you learn with mushrooms, is such an individual thing because it's what's happening in your reality. Like say in our reality, um because our brain is not being able to move the blood around like it was, and it pays more attention to the prefrontal cortex, which is all the reasoning and stuff like that, all the thinking that kind of the math of reality, and how that actually did develop over years, and us growing up as kids, and how they say, oh, when you come into puberty and stuff like that. Or what if all around those same times, that's the time that the blood start constricting and stuff like that? Like it all plays out, and then you hear it all plays out in the same story. Is what was my point before I forgot it all. How a lot of physical things is actually play out behind the scenes as other stories that we hear throughout time. So the scientists have a story that's actually valid. The mystic has a story that's equally valid. Like everybody's story is valid, and that's what makes people call people stupid or think people crazy. It's like how can everybody be right, or how can everything like be right? But that's the thing. Everything don't have to be right. Some things could be wrong. The universe allows for wrong, and that's how we get correction. It's in AI is error correcting bots that allows the AI to be able to do what it does, where it can learn a bunch of things at a million times a second. And that guy, the scientist, black guy with the kind of Frederick Douglass hair, kind of the physicist, he was talking about how he found error correcting physics equations when he was studying the universe, the equations that they have now, that they have the underlying the structures of the universe, and they use those equations to come up with stuff about electrons and stuff. Now he found that. So gotta be some wrong in order to have an error. So what's fighting to be right? What is that always about? But that's a whole nother story.
That's so
Yeah.
strange though, because as a kid in the first 7 years, you got different brainwave pattern. I don't know this well enough to like properly rehearse it to you, but you got different brainwave patterns that you operate on. And as a kid, some of them are a lot more active than when you after the age of 7. It's like those are the brain state that you take in information and a lot of your programming is done. It's like that's like kind of what taking a high dose of something does. It opens it back up and allows for re-imprinting. Sometimes it can be a negative re-imprinting, but like it allows that to be altered. But that shit like is real as hell, even if it's not the brain
No,
squeezing itself.
it is. It's so real. Like I remember learning from, like I grew up in church, so I remember the pastor saying, teaching kids and teaching future teachers saying, "Oh, these kids around they're like sponges. They programmed everything they taken in." So then that's when they was like, "Church, church, church, church." Gotta keep them in church so that they could program them for church, 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 church. That's why I'm well aware of my programming alongside with psychedelics, how they help me become aware of it without being angry about it and like going to the Sith as they in Star Wars. But but yeah, because it's known. It's known to a lot of teachers, known to a lot of people that's out here doing stuff that that's what I say. It's all about the kids, and then they kind of forget about the adults. Already got them. That's really the feeling. It's not that they grew up. Is, oh, we already got them. Why do we gotta keep trying? Watch
Yeah,
when I put this event on TV, how they react.
it's just like how fucking they're always talking about kids being addicted to telephones and kids being addicted to television and that kind of shit. The
Hmm.
fucking adults took it hook, line, and sinker, and they don't even realize.
And that's how it is. And with psychedelics too, I believe that's why we get a lot of memories back of our childhood. I get so many more memories back. I used to say, or of what this body, or if you want to get into the big scheme, how this body and this group of memories correlated itself and presented itself to me. And because before I didn't have any that much memories of my childhood. I was like, yeah, I had fun. I knew all the cool stuff, going to the park, getting my playing Mario 64 and stuff like that. But all the little things and things that shaped that radicalized me and stuff and had me think this way and think this way is like that most people could think about. It's like that's under the war. I don't really know. But now the psychedelics start to tap into those frequencies and not even to just knowing what happened, but into the feeling, into the sight and sound, like literally being in the moment and looking around and seeing what that moment is has for me. Or even if it's just the senses, like, yeah, I'm a time traveler. Like if I say something like that to myself, whatever feeling that creates for art later, it usually pops up. Or just a sense of calmness, soul, sense of serene. Churches like school, they want you to book version, but experience the, yeah, they just give you the book. Yeah, I am the book, and in this book, it's a lot of stuff going on. So I can't keep it. I gotta experience the book, right? Experience being the prodigal son, running away from my family, or running away from my hopes and running away from myself, and then back to self. Gotta experience that. Yeah, and moments in that I missed in the past, because that's what I see a lot of people coming up to. Doc, I like the energy around the world is pretty cool. Youth and popping up and getting into these energies, because a lot of them saying the same thing too. Of a lot of trauma could be a reason why memories from the past is blocked out. Traumatic events and becoming a lot of us is hypersensitive to what's going on around in our house. Like it was somebody saying, "Wait, you can't tell who's walking around the house by the sound of their footsteps?" And it was like, no, why would I ever even have to develop that skill? But when you grow up hypersensitive, by hypersensitive to traumatic events, You start being desensitized to things by being sensitized to things other people not. Desensitized to certain things and being hypersensitive to other things that don't really change stuff. I mean, don't really deal with how you feel and just being like in a paranoid constant state, but you live with it.
Yeah, like
And
what is that? Like no one ever shows you how to get out of that because most people never fully, truly experience that. So like they don't even realize how like mentally damaging it can be, you know.
yeah, yeah, I think the best way is through having these kind of conversations and talking things out and like with psychedelics, just sitting with the thoughts that pop up. And even in normal, like throughout the day, would be if a thought pop up, or like paying attention to TV shows around me, and like really and other people's experience and seeing my life in they shoes, and then seeing, and then sometimes an event will pop up, like, oh yeah, I remember when I was like that. I remember going across that feeling. Like it's a lot of new emos popping up. Like people call themselves emo. And I'm like, I was full blown emo in the past. And I had the makeup, everything, the music. I wanted to straighten my hair, but didn't really couldn't really go through with that. But that was the reason I wanted long hair and everything, just to cover one eye. And now I see other people appearing in these situations, and I was thought it was, and when I was doing it, I thought it was the coolest thing, even though I was sad and depressive and stuff like that. It was just still how I felt life. Everything made sense when I was in that personality. So now when I see other people in their personality, I was like, it pop up other situations that I didn't really pay attention to in my life that was promoting that lifestyle, and things that I came over now, and like it come up in a trip, and then I'd be like, oh well, yeah, that was something. Then later when I correlated to when a event pop up like I just described, it would bring me back again to another space. I'm like, oh, I was
Yeah.
feeling like that. Like, like I
It's
know
like
why
a
you mad.
it's like a vibe comes over you and then your brain recognizes like we're all the same parameters were set the same and the similar feelings were had, so then it takes you back to that place because it's like you're touching that place because it's the same mental place you were at, you're just experiencing it again.
Yeah, the same old, same old. uh, you said yeah, that's another gift. And that take from just sitting back, but still being in the moment. And that come from the magic of stupidity. Because sometimes when you sitting back, you're like, how I'm gonna sit back, but be in the moment at the same time. But that's one of the keys. Cause I would jump into moments that I already created, that I already like created, knowing that I didn't want to be in it, but knowing that I created
Yeah.
like an argument type situation, or I can't like feel like I can't do this right now. Like I know how to create that situation. I can't do this, but I know how to situation that I can do this. Cause I'll start seeing some breadcrumbs leading down that trail, and then I'll be like, and then a vision pop up, or even if it's not related to even what I'm immediately doing, it'll be something that pops up, and I'll be like, I see the power in it, but I want to go and do this instead. That song
That's why
running
you
through my head. Oh, what you gonna say?
that's why you need fucking anxiety because it's like that shit'll keep you alive. You know, you need some of that to foresee the future. You got to be a little anxious or else you're going to slip back into where you don't want to be.
Real. I was thinking the song by Billie Eilish that talk about trying not to. It's about not abusing power. Didn't know that you was given this. It was pretty cool. And what did you mention again? It was something I had in my mind as well. Off of what?
What I said?
Yeah.
We were talking about vibes and then feeling the past. Like I've got this experience. I don't even know if that's what we're talking about, but I remember I would take acid, and towards the end of it, I had to stop taking the tabs because I would just have a bad trip every time. Because it was like I could feel this was almost like damaging to my body. It wasn't natural, and I'd done it so many times when I was younger, and I would like every time I would get into it, like I would feel like I would shake hands with the past of all those past trips I was in. So then I'll get in the mind trip of like, get yourself safe, like figure out what's going on. Like this is, it would just, I can't even trip off of it and have a good time anymore. Like it's just so, it's like people talk about having a relation with the mushrooms and shit. I don't really have that sort of experience. I've hardly done them compared to the tabs due to availability. And it's just like when I have a tab in my hand before I go to eat it, things start looking small. I can feel it in my head. Like I haven't even eaten it yet. And I can already tell my brain knows what the fuck's gonna happen. So
The
it's like
thing
a relationship with that place. What?
I was thinking about mushroom, like with mushroom acid, is journey on your own. And with mushrooms, it's like you can encounter some thoughts, presence. What's the what's the biggest dose of mushrooms?
For me, is probably only an eighth. I just fucking got done growing some more. It's just I had a hernia, so I had to get a surgery, and I ain't trying to trip off of anything while I'm not fully functional.
That's a fear. If it's already there, that's good.
Oh
Like,
hell
oh,
yeah!
does this just cause this to happen?
Did I
I
just
won't
make
know
it
for another.
worse?
Yeah, I won't know for another 12 hours. Oh, hours.
Yeah, man.
But
I
yeah,
had a one bad experience on mushrooms because I was like in a very bad headspace. I've been doing a lot of narcotics lately, and I took some tabs, and then I also decided to eat some mushrooms on it, and ended up having fucking two seizures, dude. That shit was so fucking crazy. Like waking up, I had vomit in my mouth. I was like, "What's happening right now? Like, what's going on?" The other person I was with was clearly like traumatized. And then I came to again, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. It's fucking just so insane. I couldn't trip for like 8 months after that. I wouldn't even touch it. Like I don't even think it was the tabs and the fucking mushrooms. The tabs were clean as fuck, and I hardly ate any mushrooms. It was, I think, the state of my body at the time and like all the other shit I'd been doing. So like that, when that happened, I was like, well, the tabs never did that. So
yeah,
but
it always comes down to self. Because people have so many different. Cause that was taking me away from doing substances in the beginning. I was scared to take big doses because I took big doses before I heard other people about their experiences, really. And then, like this, the mind is so powerful that when I stopped taking them for a while, or was around people that friend that was having like a psychotic like trips journeys where she would be repeating numbers or not know where she is and like really got to take
mhm.
care of her even after the trip is over for like 2 days. And so I was like, oh
Jeez.
man, I'm scared. My own mind was starting to formulate a story like, oh, I don't want to take that much. Like, I don't know what's going to happen to me. And I was really creating those experiences and paranoias until I just kept talking and doing and really working, like taking little doses here and there and just working with the stuff, talking and hearing other people's experiences too of the whole of the experiences. Oh, people have these kind of journeys as well. And then just jumped in.
Yeah, it can get a little too real, I guess you can put it.
All real. That's the thing. That's the struggle to deal with. What's real and what's not. Some tabs are in bone, in
No,
bomb.
no, no. You gotta get yourself a test kit. Tell whoever that is, get a test kit. Never
Well,
eat N-bomb if you got an all Rick fucking reagent.
Yeah, I learned about testing substances from Psych Stuff. His YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
testing that, getting the 3 kits. If they change a color, then oh, you got some good stuff. And
Dude, I
sometimes
would
they
never eat a tab without fucking testing it. Cause then the whole time I'd be in my head about like I'm tripping and it feels fine, but is it fine? Like,
yeah, yeah, and I can't imagine that trip. The times I had it, it was from a close friend, and then after
hmm
that, I haven't really had it since. I haven't ran across it. Still, you know.
it's all you can fucking find where I'm at. It's crazy.
Because people like to cut things and just give people a rush. They just got that mind state, cutting corners. You know how poverty get when people try to make a come up real quick. Oh, if I just add this, it's going to feel exactly the same. I'm learning that a lot of the mushroom edibles that's out there that people buying, and a lot of them is made with ACMO, which is still a sicin, but it ain't shrooms. And then on the bad tip, people lacing stuff with fentanyl. It was somebody going for rehab for coke or something, and then seeing that they was actually had to go through withdrawal for fentanyl because they was storing fentanyl.
They found fucking weed cartridges, just little vape pens. They
Uh
had
huh.
a little bit of morphine in them in Cleveland, right near where I'm at. So people get
Wow.
addicted and keep buying it from the same guy. Like fucking opiates in there. Like it's crazy.
When your mind don't have the knowledge, it's just like, oh well, that was the good shit.
This fucking indica smacked. Like
Yeah. That's sad. That's why we put the knowledge out there. Test your chemical. Know your people who you getting carts in from. Even get into knowledge of making your own carts. Cause it's a big business out here for carts. Trust me, I'm talking to people I'm teaching them how to make carts for their businesses. Like that's on a big scale and stuff like that. Yeah, big scale. Stop right there. So I know it's other people people that just buying it. It's a real popular thing. So if you're buying it from people off the street, just be careful. Just careful. Because I don't know how you would test the cart, is my point. Unless you like dip some of it out, but then it's mixed with P or VG oil and
I don't think you can really at home.
stuff. So with convenience comes looking out. Just like, just like with all the food and snacks we got in all the stores. Read the ingredients. I was just learning about this bug that was used that's used for red dye, and when the Spanish conquistadors came over, the Native Americans, I mean the indigenous people there, the Native in America was already using it to dye their clothes. So they was like, "Oh, this is really cool. Like we like this to use our clothes." So they capitalized on it so much that it's used in most of our food to this day. Is they used to use it to make meat look more red so that it can still look fresh. They put in their clothes. I think red dye 4 is made from it. It starts with and it's not bad for you per se, but it's something that you wouldn't know is what they use to make you think that you getting something that's like so-called natural.
Or
Uh,
like the Impossible Burgers. Those shits are so bad for you, dude. They're made out of entirely processed plant oils. Like it's just fucking oil, the whole thing. Like it's not it's not much better than you than a fucking burger.
I'm laughing cause before I get into it, it's called Caramine. That's the name of the plant. But you right about the Impossible Burgers. I was all for it when I was a vegan and getting into all of that stuff for a couple years. And then when I learned about the oils and everything, and it's just processed and make it taste good, and the scientists just mess with the genetic structure to get it just right for your taste buds. Like, all right, we got this oil to taste like a burger. We did it.
Wait,
That's
hold on.
basically
Where were we coming from? Like what was so bad?
it. This is it's just funny how we create illusions on top of illusions all the time. It's what we do. That's why we always got the Morpheus popping up. Always gonna pop up in the vibe. Like, hey, wake up. uh, but hey, that's also plant fats and THC harder without lag. Cause I think I smoked some stuff in the past that had some wildy chemicals in it. Growing up in Philly, where even before my mom, um, when I used to just walk around my mom all the time when I was younger. So she would even when she went to go buy weed. So for some reason, I remembered I had this memory in the dark on 21st Dolphin and her saying, "Yeah, if you gotta check your weed bags, if like white stuff in there or some other stuff in there, smoke that." I'm like, "Whoa, what?" I ain't really comprehended it at the time. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I was like, then I got older. I'm like, "Yeah, people's stuff be laced with stuff a lot of times in Philly. Weed and the projects." My mom, another story. It's just for what psych substance harm reduction purposes. I'm telling her story. I'm telling you, but it was time where somebody gave her some smoke, and luckily I had some psychedelic experiences where I was able to deal with a person mind being in a state that's not correlating to what their body is actually doing. And I was just getting her to breathe and sit and stuff because she smoked sun, and it was just had her mind in a whole nother dimension. And I think when I smoked something before and I woke up in sweats and I was throwing up out of both ends and I had to get taken to the emergency room with an IV. And it's like, "Dude, what you smoke?" And my person mom I was with was like, "You ain't smoked crack, did you?" He's like, "No, I just smoked weed." And then I just woke up like this. I was only asleep like a couple minutes and then woke up like this. I don't know what was going on. And that happened twice back in the day. And so it's just wow. And you wonder why a lot of people walking around the hood with the mind state. They probably smoked some shit. Or took some stuff in the substance and then get it tested. Or shady person just trying to cut it with some baby powder. So they can make an extra buck.
Yeah, even if it's clean, a lot of the people using are mixing such combinations. Like no one studies like what these combinations are doing to the body. Like no one in a lab taking acid, ecstasy, and hidden nitrous all night. Like
That's why we
fucking
coming
crazy.
together with this science more and tying out, just getting this experience out there in the first place. Like, yeah, we do this stuff, so we gonna study this. Scientists doing this, there's artists doing this, runners, martial artists. Let's see what's going on now. Those group of coming out now. Us like seeing what's going on, all the different flavors. Make some kind of yeah. Angel Dust was a 90s. K2 Herb, that was big in the projects. K2, K2. I knew a couple people that sold it, and I did not understand why. Well, I didn't want to fully understand why. Angel Dust was the thing. Big L, the rapper, I remember him saying, "Started smoking dust and been the same since." Rap shit if I rap real fast. So I had to rap it fast to actually get the words to come to my memory. Yeah, that was big in the past. And this was things people was using thinking it was gonna get them high too, even wanted to try it out. Like PCP. Wet. My cousin's still on that one. But yeah, this is the thing. This is certain things because human beings are trying to find this other side, trying to find this other side to themselves, trying to deal with themselves in ways in the society and just in life. Just in life is we want to connect with this other side of life that we feel as though is there. And as human beings in this mind coming out, we trying on all of these different substances, and now as we trying them out, those that talk and try things out and talk to each other say, "Hey, don't do that one," or "Hey, when you do that, this happens," or "This is most likely to happen." Or then we get more specific. If you grow up in this kind of culture and then take this kind of substance, then you're more likely to experience this thing. Then then it's going to get even deeper and deeper. Well, all the more science that we have, because now we got AI creating drugs now. And what are they creating it based off of? Well, they're creating it based off the chemical structures, but who is the study? And that creates the world we have now. And with that, I'm gonna tie you on out of here. Block is it still there?
Yeah.
Hey, unless you had something else you want to tie you on before I head out.
Nah, dude, I got none. Have a good one.
Cool, thanks. And Wild Man Ninja, thanks for popping on through with the smoke session in the beginning.
He's always in his fucking car lighting up a bowl, I swear.
The best. I was about to say block, but that's you right there. And you well, Adamus. Thank you for all the insights, as you like to term. For all the good vibes and the camaraderie, as I like to term it. So make sure you have a good day too. And everyone out there in hyperspace, high on out. Combine your mind with your heart, see what your gut mind is saying, connect all those three circles and let whatever come out, come on out. Catch you on the tie side. Peace.